October 1st, it's coming. Student loan repayment starts again. So how are you going to deal with this? In this video, I'm going to talk about how to address it, the mindset that you should have with it, and what are the steps that you need to do so that this thing doesn't overtake your life. So let's talk about a few things. I want you all to understand that I feel for you, and I know it sucks to be in this situation. But the first thing that I believe that every single person that is dealing with this, and this is keeping you up at night, you need to do is you need to have awareness and you need to take ownership. It's happening. October 1st is happening, y'all. Whether you have a $700 payment, you got a $1,000 payment. I've talked to people that have over $2,000 that they're going to have to be paying month over month. It's going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the first thing is we must take ownership of this situation. In life, sometimes we make mistakes and it sucks, and we just have to deal with it. So once I've taken ownership of anything that's happened in my life, now I can move on to the next phase. But I know that a lot of times in life, I haven't taken ownership. I try to repress it. It's not going to happen. I don't have to deal with it. Don't worry about it. And then you end up just prolonging the pain. So the first thing I want to tell you all, just take ownership of the situation. This is what's going to happen. Now let's figure out what we need to do next. And that's what I want to spend the majority of this video talking about, is let's optimize your situation. How are you going to do this? So here's what I recommend for you. I want you to go and I want you to look at what is your loan payment going to be. Is it going to be $800 a month? Is it going to be $1,000 a month? Is it going to be $1,500 a month? Is it going to be $2,000 a month? First thing I would do is I would come up with a game plan of not how I'm going to pay that back, but how I'm going to pay that back double. So that whatever my payment is, I'm going to basically double the payment on it so that I can not prolong this pain. I can shorten this painful situation in my life. So if it's $800 that you have to pay back, let's figure out how you are going to make $1,600 additional dollars per month. So what I want to do is I want to help you optimize right now. I want to give you 3 different ways that you can go about making this payment back. The number 1 is you can basically move into a different job within your profession. So for me, I'm a physical therapist by trade. I love to work in the outpatient setting. That's a setting that gives me the most energy, the most desire, the most passion. But the reality is that outpatient pays the least. So during this time, can you actually work at another outpatient job that's going to pay you $1,600 additional a month? Chances are no, that's not going to happen. You might be able to work as a manager, as a director, and you might be able to make your money that way and make the additional $1,600 a month that way, but chances are you're not going to be able to do that. So what you want to do is you want to figure out what is the lateral move that you can make. Do you need to go work at an ALF? Do you need to work at a SNF? Should you look into home health? Should you work in another city, another town? You guys, this is just reality, and these are the things that you're going to have to look at in order for you to be able to not only pay back your loan, whatever the minimum amount is, but double this so that you can start to really make some headway on making this situation better. That's option number 1 with optimizing. Option number 2 is to work more. To work more. You're like, oh, I want to stay in outpatient. I love outpatient, so much. Great. Well, then that's what you're going to do in the week. On the weekends, you got to get a second job. By the way, I want you all to know this. That's what I did. I loved outpatient therapy. And I worked that as my regular job Monday to Friday. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I got another gig at an ALF. And I used that ALF money to actually take what I needed to pay for myself and my wife's loans, and you pay it off. And we were able to condense the amount of time that it took to pay off the loans. Look, it sucks, but this is the reality of the situation. Remember, we took ownership of it first, right? This is another way to optimize. So you're going to have to put in a little extra time, and you're going to have to sacrifice your weekends. That's what you're going to have to do. That's the situation that you're in. Number 3 is invest in learning a new set of skills that's going to allow you to make more money than what you're doing with number 1 and 2. So here's the deal. Are you willing to learn a new set of skills that's going to allow you to make more per hour than what you're making at your current job. Whether you're a dietitian, you're a physical therapist, you're an occupational therapist, like, are you making enough money to where I can go and work and do number one or number two, and I can work and make enough money to where I can double up on my payments? If you can't do that in any of those options and you can't work enough, then you're already in debt. Go into more debt, learn skills. If you have time and you don't want to go into more debt, then use your time and look at videos like this. Learn from other people that have a skill set that pays you more money than what your skill set pays you in the current profession that you're in. Okay? You'll go down a little bit more, but guess what? You're already in debt. So it ain't gonna hurt that much to go into more debt. And then over time, you learn those skills, you start to practice them, you start to do them over and over and over again, you master them, and now you work in that skill set. Now, I can tell you this, there are many different lines of work out there that allow you to make money, not just in the transaction like what we do as healthcare providers, but allows you to make money over and over and over again. Digital marketing is one, being an affiliate is another, selling products, doing partnerships, creating a course, making money by doing a blog. There are many different ways that you can make money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I call it 168 vehicles, where you're making money 168 hours a week. You're not necessarily going to make it all 168 hours, but you're giving yourself the opportunity to where you can give people value 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then in return, they have the option of paying you money during that time. A lot of people that I know are doing that today, and it's allowing them to use that extra money to be able to compound and put on their debt, okay? So I think that's extremely important for us to understand, okay? So we talked about awareness. Just take ownership of the situation. This is a situation you're in. Don't blame me. Don't blame your mama. Don't blame your auntie. This is you. Be an adult. This is your situation. All right, let's face it head on. Number two, we talked about optimizing and the 3 different ways that we can actually make more money and generate more income. I do not recommend trying to just get by and pay the bills. You will have to do that for a very, very, very long time because of what we're going to talk about in number 3, which is leverage. One of they say it's the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest, right? Okay, and those who understand it earn it. Those who don't understand it pay it. And I think a lot of people don't understand the power of compound interest. Is it working in your favor or is it working against you? I'm assuming as you're watching this video, compound interest is working against you. And that's okay for right now. But what I can tell you is this. What I can tell you is that when I was in a similar situation, maybe not the same as yours, I don't know what your situation is as you're watching, but what I did is I compounded my payments. And so I didn't just say, okay, I got an $800 payment, I'm gonna pay $805, or I'm gonna pay $800. I said, let me go ahead and double this bad boy up and do $1,600. And then when I started making more money and generating more income by learning new skills, then I added it to $1,800. And then I went to $1,900. Then I went to $2,000. And I did it over and over and over again, and I was able to pay off my debt. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Because I understood it, and I understood that the longer I make this thing just simmer there, I'm gonna be getting more interest tacked on to my loan. Once I finished paying off my debt, I wanna tell you guys, this is how I was able to start to build assets and buy assets, is that I acted like I was still in debt. So when I went debt free, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stay with this lifestyle that I have, and I'm gonna take that $2,400 extra a month, and I'm gonna start to pound it inside other accounts. That's now making me earn interest, and that's what I did. And then I started balancing between my house loan and these other accounts where I was making interest. And then over time, I was able to pay off my house. And then I took the money from my house that I was paying and I added it to these other accounts. And it allowed me to now have money to where I was able to now pounce on opportunities, whether it was an investment property, whether it was another business, whether it was learning a new set of skills, which is an asset. I was able to start to put my money in assets, and those assets started working harder for me than I was working for making money. And I can tell you guys this, if you follow what I said, you will eventually get out of your situation. But if you do not create awareness and take ownership of this, this thing is going to linger on and it's going to become more and more and more painful. It's going to be like an open sore that is getting infected. Close it up, put the Band-Aid on, take the medicine, do what you need to do to get out of this situation. I wish you nothing but the best, and I know you can do it. Let's go.